Good morning, girls. Welcome to your English class. This is your O level 2. This is your second class and second video. Today we are going to read another comprehension, passage 1, about the people and animals. I told you, bache, before starting this comprehension that it would be a general topic, and mostly it would be either about the advantages and disadvantages or about the uses of something in the past and uses of something in the present, such kind of topics. So today's topic is people and animals. Clear? So the relationship between people and animals, and we are going to read about how people used animals in the past, and what were like the different ways how animals were useful for people in the past, and how they are useful for the people, still useful for the people even in the present time, the present era. Clear? So let's begin with the passage. Since earlier times, large animals have been used as a means of human transport, with camels ferrying riders over vast areas of dry desert, and lavishly decorated elephants carrying people of rank. Because of their sheer physical strength, some animals, either harness or pack animals, were used to move objects around. Harness animals included oxen pulling plows or elephants hauling logs out of forest, while pack animals such as llamas, horses and reindeer carried heavy loads on their backs. Okay, so this was the first para, and we have read about, like, since the very start of human civilization, in the earliest times, animals have been used as a means of transport. Like if the people want to travel from one place to another, so animals were being used. You must have seen in so many movies or on TV that horses are used as a means of transport. Elephants were used as a means of transport. Clear? In the former times, in the previous time. Clear? Okay. And camels were used as well, because camel can easily ride or move into the desert. Clear, bache? Acha. And lavishly decorated elephants. Yes, the people of rank, the people who belong to a higher rank, the people of elite class, they used to travel on elephants, and those elephants were supposed to be very much decorated in order to show their rank, in order to show their position. For example, if it is a king or it is an emperor, so he used to travel on the elephants, but that was not a normal elephant. That elephant used to be lavishly decorated, too much decorated. Clear? Acha. Now the other point is, because of their sheer physical strength, some animals, either harness or pack animals, were used to move objects around. Like animals are having too much physical strength, like you can take the example of elephants, you can take the example of horses and camels. Clear? So they used to be used to carry objects from one place to another, to carry heavy objects from one place to another. In the old English movies, you must have seen, like, there used to be 2, 3 or 4 animals tied together, and they used to pull or carry heavy loads of things. Clear? Harness animals included oxen pulling plows or elephants hauling logs out of forest. Harness means the one which are being tied up with the ropes and all these things, or restrained or restricted. So these animals were used to pulling the plows, hal chalate the. And elephants, definitely elephants have too much physical strength, so they were used to take out the big trees out of the forest. Clear? And other animals such as horses and reindeer, they used to take heavy objects or heavy loads on their backs from one place to another. Clear, bache? Now come to the second para. Okay. Early humans hunted the hairy mammoths, bears, deer and other animals that shared their environment, and at some point learned how to use the thick, furry hides from these animals to keep themselves warm and dry. With this discovery, clothing developed and was later improved by the invention of needles made from slivers of animal bones. Okay, now these bears, deers, mammoths and other animals, they were hunted to use their fur, thick fur. In order, humans used to hunt these animals just to take their fur to keep themselves warm and to keep themselves covered. Clear? So with the help of this idea, slowly and gradually the idea of clothing developed, like people used to stitch clothes for themselves or cover themselves, clear, with the fur of these animals. And these clothing or the design or stitching of clothes came into existence when the needle was being invented from the slivers of the bones of these animals, clear. So it's been telling you that how the animals were being hunted just for their fur to keep because human beings wanted to keep themselves warm, and they discovered that the fur of these animals are quite warm, so they used to cover themselves with that. And with this, slowly and gradually the idea of clothing developed, and this idea further developed, like new inventions came into the idea of clothing when the needle was being invented from the bones of these animals, clear. From very early times, people hunted animals for food. Now definitely humans have to survive, so for their survival they needed food, clear. So humans have to hunt animals for food. A breakthrough came when people domesticated a wide range of animals such as goats and sheep to raise them rather than hunt them. Now a new thing came, a change came when people started raising these animals to keep them at their home instead of hunting them. Why? Because they used to raise or keep goats and sheep at their home because they are a source of food, like they are giving milk, clear. Animals have a long history of being useful in the hunting of other animals. For example, the domestic cat is one of the oldest working animals, having protected food supplies from pests since the foundation of human agriculture. So another use of animals was like they used to hunt another animals, clear, like a cat was used to save the food from the pesticides and all these things. Even in the present time you can see the cat hunting this rats and all these things. And cheetahs have been used by humans to chase down prey for food. And in the previous time, cheetahs were being used to hunt other animals, clear, because in this way humans used to get their food. So they used to train cheetahs in such a way so that they should do hunting for the humans, and that hunting was used as a source of food by the humans later on. Clear, bache? Now come to the third para. In ancient times, animals had a role to play in warfare. In ancient times, animals had a role to play in warfare, and records exist showing that horses pulled wagons in battle some 5,000 years ago, and later carried armed soldiers on the battlefield. Elephants were used to charge the enemy, and the psychological effect of these huge beasts used by the civilizations such as those of Persians and Carthaginians cannot be underestimated. Sacrificing animals to a god or gods was an integral part of most religions. Animals were offered as tributes to please or placate these deities, or to give thanks for their kindness in, for example, the safe birth of a child. Animals were used in sports in early civilization. The ancient Greeks and Romans used horses for chariot races, and animals featured in many kinds of sporting activities such as horse jumping, polo, and even camel racing. Okay, now this para, it's telling us about how animals were used in the past in the wars and battles, and also about how animals were used in sports, clear. So first of all, we are going to talk about how animals were used during the times of war. So in ancient times, animals had a role to play in warfare, and records existing showing that Horses pulled wagons in battle some 5,000 years ago. So in war times, horses used to pull wagons. Clear? Maybe that was having the things required during the war. So in those wagons, the things were there present required during the battle or wars. And later on, and horses were also used to take the armed soldiers to the battlefield. Clear? Now, first horses were being used, and now we are going to talk about the elephants. Elephants were used to charge the enemy, and the psychological effect of these huge beasts used by civilization such as those of Persians and Carthaginians cannot be underestimated. Acha. The people who could afford, or the army who could afford, they used to take a large number of elephants with themselves in order to psychologically make their opponents scared of elephants. Clear? Now another use of animal was that people in most of the religions where there are these mythologies of god and goddesses, people used to sacrifice the animals in order to pay tribute to their god or goddesses. Deities means goddesses, and to thank them for different things. For example, if there is a safe birth of a child is born normally and safely, so in order to pay thanks to the god and goddesses, so animals were being sacrificed. Clear? Animals were also used in sports in early civilization. For example, in Greeks and Romans, horses were used for chariot races. Bache, what are chariots? You must have seen it's a kind of cart having 2 wheels or 4 wheels, and 2 or 1 horse is tied in the front. So in the past such races used to happen, and horses were used in the chariot races. Yes. Animals were also used, still they are used in horse jumping, in polo, and even in deserts in these Arab countries. Clear? Still camel race is there, and people are taking or participating into that.